turned the album down. The for the first Midnight Wire, and then yeah, I mean, so he was, he was great. He got a good publicist for us, and and I think that and I had completely, because I'd had to work and earn money, I'd spent some months working as a croupier in the Playboy Club, and so I was interested in exploring my sexuality for the first time, really. Before that, with Curved Hair, I happened to be female, but I just wore, I didn't wear dresses and things. But this time, after the Playboy, I just went for it. My idea was sort of like space gypsy showgirl. It was lace and feathers and that was fun. Because it's also like being on hair. In hair, we were sort of very free and unself-conscious, and so it was kind of carrying that sort of feeling through. So I'm going on stage and next to nothing with just a bit of lace and a G-string. It was because that was my sort of from 74 to 76. Those plus of just those 2 years really seemed a lot longer when you think back on it. But so people, the shows were going great, and even though we were struggling with we were making the records, and I wasn't entirely certain about the new material that we were getting, but it was all going down really, really well with the audiences. But then punk came in, so that the media were into that, and progressive music was pushed to the back of the crowd, back of the room, but that was fine. That was fine because we were into punk as well.
Yeah,
so Miles did all that. Yeah,
I was going to mention that I heard from some very famous singers into prog rock that they themselves don't like the tag very much. Like they say sometimes this music might sound regressive, not progressive, and there's a lot of criticism, and that's what you were mentioning when the new wave punk came up, and new wave, and that, I don't know, there's always been great criticism accusing prog rock to be so pompous, and I don't know how you see these things have changed, because today new generations are discovering new bands like Curved Hair and many others, and I think it's like a kind of going back to every type of music with its own crowd. You see, how difficult was it back then? When did you have like a criticism on the part of the film concert reviewers or journalists? How is it today? No,
not at all. We were doing fine as a band. It was just that Miles was, we weren't making money because we were taking sort of lights and roadies and sound systems and everything all over the country. And Miles had the opportunity to work with the, he was really, really into all the individuals in the punk scene, and so, and the people that Stuart and I used to go down to the Roxy, which was where the punk movement was emerging, and we got to know lots of people there, and we saw people sort of doing their first gigs there: Billy Idol, X-Ray Specs, and the Damned, and and so we the Clash, we loved it all, and we were accepted, and a lot of them were this like sort of, they respected the fact that we liked what they were doing, because they respected us too, Stuart and I. So we made some lasting friends from that time. So it was, I think there was a new energy was needed, because the 60s, 67 brought its own new energy, a new wave of a new way of thinking, a new way of everything. And then in 1970, which is only 10 years, it's a new energy needs to come going right down to basics, just attitude and attitude and very, very simple songs, as opposed to complex music. So now I think, and in 2008, when Daryl and Daryl and I got together again, people have sort of forgotten, about progressive bands. I suppose the people there were some, yes, people must have carried on touring. I'm not sure what everybody else did, but we were trying to get publicity for our new Curved, for the new Curved Air lineup, and people were saying, Curved Air? Who's Curved Air? Because the people who were doing the PR on the music magazines, they were much younger, and that 10 years made a lot of difference to them. But eventually, within a few years, then progressive music started coming back, and there were young, very good young bands coming, in England, in Scandinavia, and in Italy and Europe. And I think what progressive music really is, it's just musical brilliance, influenced by anything and everything, and nothing formulaic,
Right. Now, I read that you once were involved with the Straws, and I know that Rick Wakeman was there. I don't know if you ever met Rick, which is a very funny guy.
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, and I'm also curious, Sonia, to ask you about other people that I admire a lot. Linda Boyle of Affinity, that I was listening to your videos last night at the Curved Air music, and I thought there was some similarity in the tone of voice, and she was really brilliant doing just rock type of music. And also Clifford T. Ward, who was very talented, and he unluckily left us some years ago. Clifford T. Ward, he was on the Charisma label, the Charisma label where Genesis were, Van der Graaf Generator. Did you ever cross ways with those people, like on stage in festivals and stuff?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Okay.
I was obviously doing acid folk or something whilst all that was happening.
But I do know that you once met the Black Sabbath, I guess. It was kind of fun.
Oh, no, yeah, that was back in 1970. We were on tour with Black Sabbath on our very, very first tour of big town halls and the bigger venues. Before that, we had just been playing music clubs and universities, lots of universities, and but Black Sabbath, yes, I know. And the Straubs were, they were from friends from Dave Cousins was a friend from my teens.
Oh.
We used to play the same folk clubs.
Look at that.
So that was why Dave came down to play at my troubadour gigs and things.
All right. And how do you think today? Do you feel today that there are some things that you would still like to do that are still, in your plans? Something that some goals that you want to achieve? I don't know what you think it could be nice to continue now with. Solo records, Curved Air goes on.
I want to keep on with Curved Air because there seems to be a hunger for hearing the Curved Air music, particularly with the musicians that we get that I've been working with. As we carry on working, people get sick, they have to leave. They can't continue, so they leave, and then you find somebody else. So it has been much more organic, the evolution of Curved Air since 2008, because it's kept going. With I brought in, when Daryl left, I brought in the violinist and the keyboard player from the acid folk era, because I knew how they played, and I knew that they would be able to play Curved Air music brilliantly. So and the violinist that we've got now is from Poland, and this is when Paul Sachs, he was the acid folk violinist, and he left in the last few years, and because of injuries, and then we had to find somebody else, and then we found Grzegorz Grzymski, who had been staying with a friend of mine, studying music in London, but he was classically trained, but also very, he was, I think he had heard of Curved Air or progressive Pink Floyd. I think he really liked Pink Floyd and things like that, that was sort of at the birth of prog music with Pink Floyd and things. So it's important to keep Curved Air going, I think, because it is sort of mine now, because we're taking the best, we're creating music together. Everybody kind of contributes ideas, and then but it's me who decides which pieces I can see performed on a big stage at a festival, and they're the ones that we develop, and then I write lyrics, and we kind of shape them. But that worked very well with the one that we did already that way, which was North Star. And the material on that was very well accepted by our audience, and we didn't go off into completely alien directions. It is, it's beautifully played. It's atmospheric. It's got good tunes and good motifs, and it's exciting and emotional. So if we can carry on ticking all those boxes, then I'll be happy. I want to keep going, for the next 20 years.
Oh, well, you surely will. Is there any documentary sort of thing that's going to come out someday, like a Curved Air box, if it doesn't exist already? I'm sure the new fans, the original fans and the new audiences would be really glad to see something like that, like the CD, DVD documentary set or something like that.
Well, I mean, there is in our there is a sort of a box set of the Curved Air, of the original Curved Air, the first four albums, I think, yeah. And there is a DVD of the TV shows that we did during that time as well. But there hasn't been since this is the sort of internet age, and everything gets videoed anyway. So the best of those shows are still sort of doing the rounds, and the best videos. I mean, you can't do much about quality control. The best ones just become the most popular. But we know, in answer to your question, it would be great to do something like that. But at the moment, we're trying to raise money through Patreon, which I don't think is that, because we don't, everything, the music business is so different. And to get together to create money when we're not, to create new songs when we're not making money from tours and selling merchandise and stuff, we need money for that, because people have to they're all working musicians. They're in demand and they need to make their money. So in order for us to be able to carry on, we need to build up as big a possible a crowd of patrons. So if anybody's watching this, if they could go to our patreon.com/Curved Air, and you can join from paying as little, and even a little every month. If we had sort of like 5,000 people, and we've got, we don't have millions like the TikTok people, and I haven't got into TikTok or anything yet, but but even with the amount of people that we have, and if everybody just gave a little, we would be able to manage, and keep going, and we would make it worth. The people who are our patrons already, we meet up, and every couple of weeks we now we've been playing curved air music, and now we're just playing whatever new music everybody's heard. So when we talk about, people bring two or three songs. We put it. We're on sort of Discord. This thing called Discord, where we can talk and play music and text and things as well. But that's fun to do with the fans. Because they and some of them have been following the bands, following Curved Air for years, and they're music experts. They know their stuff. They're music lovers, and so it's very, very interesting. We just getting together with them, and I try and put before we meet up, I try and put a post up about what we've been doing, what about the tour or the recordings that we're doing, and I'm doing side projects as well.
Interesting. Now, I think Claudio and I are possibly coming to saying thank you very much. I don't know what Claudio has in mind, but I want to just one more thing to say. The day has 24 hours. How many hours do you do what you want? How do you relax? What do you do when you're not making music or taking care of, music? What do you like to do? You like movies? Are you a film fanatic? What music do you listen to? Do you read books? What do you usually do to relax?
Yeah, well, I don't read much anymore. I used to read a lot when I was a kid, but I think when I want to relax, I'll put on whatever Prime or Amazon or Apple TV and see what I fancy watching. It could be a documentary or a new series or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I like because it's good because you can have a good choice these days. You can do it, and you can do it all at home, and you can just see what you want to watch. There's some very good stuff being made, I think, now, and you can see the new movies and everything. So we're just spoiled for choice these days, aren't we?
Yeah, we do, in fact.
Quick question, Sonia, how are we doing on time? Do you have another 5 minutes or?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay, good. We are the same, and we'll make sure that the two of us will contribute to the Patreon page, because I want you to continue, right? Renaissance is doing the same, and many other bands as well. You like our music, help us out a little bit, and then we'll develop a new record and so forth. So it's good for you guys. It's good for the consumer of your product, being music. I want to bring it to attention to a couple of awards that you received in '71. Was the top female vocalist award. It's a big deal, and 40 years after, you got the Guiding Light accolades, Progressive Music Award. Man, those are very big deals. And what those awards means to you?
Well, it means a lot, because I mean, I haven't won lots of awards over the years. I mean, the first one was in 1971, when we first, we just took off, and people liked what we did. So that our reward from that was to get, I think Daryl got an award as well for top sort of instrumentalist as well, I think. But I've still got them. Got them over there on my table. And the progressive, because Prog magazine came sort of about 2009, just after we'd started again, from people not knowing who Curved Air were, and all of a sudden there was this magazine that was sort of representing, talking about interesting new progressive music and old bands and old progressive rock bands. So that was exciting, because it was meant that there was interest in progressive music. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell this very beautiful glossy magazine. So that was very encouraging. And then after a few years, to be given an award for being an inspiration to other musicians. And then as I came down from the stage, Peter Gabriel shook my hand, stood up and shook my hand.
Oh.
So saying congratulations, and which was a great honor, because I mean I'd met Peter Gabriel before, because Stuart went down when I was still with Stuart. We went down there and he recorded with him. But he was, I think that was he got an award that time as well. But that was an honor, and I think because when you're, and I'd never actually given I don't remember giving a speech the first time, but I don't think I've ever given a speech before, but I did a speech in front of all those kind of famous folk musicians, and it was surreal.
Yeah, and I'm glad you were, especially the first one, right? So the first one usually is I don't know, in my opinion, the most important one, because we live in a male-dominated world. So people like yourself and Annie Haslam, and then Harris Blondie, and then Pat Benatar, and so on and so forth, that opened the door for many other musicians, right? And in your case, you had been a big inspiration to other female musicians, including, I think I read somewhere that Kate Bush. That's a big deal. Somebody, when they ask famous people, who are you listen, who are you admire, who the band that you would like to open or play with, and many people have mentioned your name and the band. So feel free to elaborate on that as well. It's for me, it's for us, Christian and I, we can talk about the hits and this and that, but it's important for us. We do a different type of interview. I want to know yourself as a person, know as an artist as well, right? So that's why we kind of ask a lot of no intrusive question, but a little bit personal, So what's the meaning to you? What's important to you? If what Peter Gabriel says, or Kate Bush, you mentioned many times you were an inspiration for her. Feel free to elaborate on that. So,
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't. I've seen Kate Bush perform at an awards ceremony that I went to with Stuart, but I mean, I haven't spoken to her. I've seen Susie Sue from Susie and the Banshees. I saw her work during that was during police days, because that's when I was doing, because that was in a time when I was doing Sonja Christina's Escape, which was when Stuart was first working on the Police. I wrote some songs and I got together and I did this. It was kind of my tribute to the energy that was going on then. And I remember we played the Music Machine in Camden Town, which was an important venue, and I know it still is in its whatever it's called now. But there were a lot of people from the new scene there came to see my new band, and that was an exciting band. So so I just came. I had to do my punk kind of punk influence. I told the people in the band, I just said they're not allowed to play any fancy chords, just straight major chords, just straightforward chords, no fifths, sixths, or I mean, yes, fifths, of course, but no, everything has to be very, very clean and just basic chords, and which is what we sort of what they ended up doing. But there's Rat Scabies from the Damned. He was a big Curved Air fan. He wanted to do he wanted the Damned to play a cover of Backstreet Love. I'm trying to think, because there are so many different sort of eras and friends that we made. With Brian James from the Damned, he's still a very good friend of Stuart's. I don't know. I don't really know what because I apart from when I was with Stuart, we went to parties more, but we'd leave very soon because we wouldn't stay very long because Stuart didn't. We were both into just dropping in, just going, hanging out for a little bit and then going back again, going home again. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. Yes, Freddie Mercury. He
Wow.
was his producer the Queen's producer, Roy Thomas Baker, was very supportive of my band Escape. He was going to record them, but for one reason or another, he never did. But Freddie was, he appreciated who I was and what I had done, you know, and he was he was such a perfectionist and, you know, such an artist, you know. I love him. Yeah, this Phil Dennett was a friend of mine, and I think he's amazing. You know, I met him down at the Speakeasy. Him and lots of people I met down at the Speakeasy. It's sort of in my time off, not time on stage.
And you surely met the police members. I mean, Andy Summers, which is a very lovely guy, very good, very friendly person, and Sting. In the days that you were the police were hired. Now I wanted to mention. I'll ask you, Sonia, what about the tour in Brazil? How come you didn't? Well, you weren't invited. You don't make your own decisions. You have to have a promoter interested. So I wonder how you didn't come back, to Argentina or Chile. I suppose that there were no chance.
There has to be. It must have been Steve in Brazil who we knew that the other bands were going over to play in Brazil, and so we were and we were with the same. We were with good management. We're still with good management with QEDG, and so it's down to the management to do a deal with, a good promoter, and he was a wonderful promoter. He was really, really good, and nice man, looked after us really well. So yeah. I mean, if there are any promoters who can, promote shows properly, of course we want to come to your part of the world. Love to.
Yeah, well, in fact, Renaissance, I'm a big fan of Renaissance. So is Claudio. They were here recently, I mean, in Brazil, and I was really, really sad that there was no chance that they could come down to Chile, because they do have a lot of fans here too. And I suppose, and I'm sure that Curve there also has many fans. So I wish that you could come down one day. And if Claudia and I can contribute to that, we will surely do. So on my part, thank you very much for your time. You've really been a very, I have lots of information to share now with your fans and my friends and people who like music. So congratulations on all you've been doing for so many years, and please go on. We'll be, listening, very attentive. Thank you very much. And
all right, thank you for your time too. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then I have only another two questions. Looking back in your career, what moments are special to you, and any regrets or things perhaps you could have done differently looking back?
What women are important to me?
Yep.
Yeah, Buffy Sainte-Marie, Sandy Denny, Dusty Springfield initially.
Yeah.
Edith Piaf.
Yeah.
Billie Holiday.
Wow. Yeah.
They are. I think they're my female heroes from their different genres. And Sandy Denny, of course.
Any outside the career, do you have any plan for the near future? Are you perhaps working on new material you plan to work in, or do a release?
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm working with somebody who's doing an album of duets. So we've decided to do, for the song that we're doing, that he asked me to be involved. We're doing a cover of the Tom Waits song Alice, which is which I love, and I've already performed it on the Jules Holland radio show, and I've done a couple of gigs with the Norman Beaker band, and so I sang that song amongst others there, and so we're sort of he sent me over what he's done, and I'm going to put on. I'm going to play with it now, and just by coincidence, somebody else has sent me some music, which is taken from a German album, where they wrote this music, and then they narrated Alice in Wonderland. This was sort of a very basic synopsis of the Alice in Wonderland story. So that's great, because that's just a spoken voice thing. So I've got that's so it's just interesting that another one of those coincidences. It must mean that there's magic around the corner.
Mhm.
Great, thank you. And we'll, feel free to elaborate on your website, and also we will, where our, besides Amazon and Spotify, you have a place where the listener can go ahead and buy your music. Feel free to elaborate on that as well.
Well, I mean, we Cherry Red distribute our materials, so
yeah,
and we bring the albums on tour, and I think you can buy we still have a shop online, but I mean I'll need to look at all that. That's one of the things that over the next few months, as well as do some more work on our new shaping a new album. We have to just try and get all the business stuff sorted, but I find it very difficult to do the business stuff and the creative stuff. And if I'm being creative, I just go into the zone. I can't do anything, I have to, my days are designed around writing some words, writing some tunes, listening back, bring it, it's and it's hard to diversify. I'm very one-track minded.
Well, it was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you, Sonia. It's an honor for me and on Christian behalf as well. We are very happy that you spent over an hour and a half with us talking and about your music, your career, and good luck. Hopefully we can see you here in the United States, if not in Europe, and then Latin America. I mean, as I mentioned at the beginning, progressive music is very important in Brazil, Peru, and Argentina, Chile, and so
yeah. Well, just if you can find the promoters, then we'll come.
Yeah. We interviewed, the two of us interviewed Annie Haslam like a year and a half ago, and the same thing. We are ready to go if it financially makes sense to us, and you can secure 4 gigs and so forth. Yeah, we'll try to find some contacts because you are in your prime, and you need to continue doing and continue touring, continue creating albums, great music. It's a lot of terrible music out there. So, but your music and Annie Haslam music and so forth, when you were touring with Renaissance in Brazil, is great. So hopefully we'll be able to see you play live as well. So.
Yeah, and also with America, we have to buy visas and things, so we need all our patrons, we need patrons to buy us visas, so then we can come. If all the American fans can contribute enough money for us to buy visas, then we could play America lots. Yeah.
And when I upload the interview to the radio, and I will put a link for the Patreon as well for people that listen to the radio, try to help a little bit. Everything helps,
Yeah, because it means that we can go to just, things like visas won't stand in our way, won't be a problem, because, there isn't a lot of money spare from, when we come back from the road. We've got 6 members of the band, and we have a lighting person and a sound person, and so it's they don't all get paid a lot, but it's a lot of people to pay.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, Sonia, thank you very much again. I will send you a separate email and with the link to the. I would ask you some questions as well. And thanks again for your time, and on Christian behind. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, it's been lovely. Thank you. Nice interview. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Happy.